Once we were pretty sure that we were doing some good work with the wells and we'd been spending much more time here, we got to really understand the importance of the subsistence farming that the communities do. And we saw that there's a real need to have much greater nutrition. A lot of the issues that the children have with the extended stomachs, the kwashiorkor, that's really because they have an unbalanced diet. They just don't have enough to buy eggs and chicken and that kind of thing. So we tried to understand the farming and had some really interesting chats with some of the older locals that had been farming before the war. And they explained to us that the locals had always farmed in the swamps, but that knowledge had been lost, and also the trust had been lost in order for the communities to come together and work in a collaborative way, which meant they could tackle doing the swamps.
This swamp, we are used to work here before the war, but just after the war, we have no chance to work there. You people, your project is the first one which have reached to us to help us, to assist us in doing anything. You are the first.
On our way to Summerhun, IVS. To our eyes, it's hard to see which are the farms and which isn't. So if we look on the right, just here, this is a cassava farm. Visually, it's not the neat and orderly way that we would expect to see a farm, but it's very much how things are done here.
This is the first year they have developed these things. This one was here. Okay, they work here for 2 days. So the rest of the day they use it for their own family work. They say involve everybody in the village, all the household.
That's very good.
Inland Valley swamp farming is a method of farming rice. It requires people to work together to create a large swamp around the stream or river in the valley bottom, hence the inland valley. They create a paddy field system with organised channels so that by opening and closing different portions they can regulate the amount of water in the swamp. As these swamp farms are at the bottom of the valleys, during the rainy season, soil and nutrients flow down into the area, replenishing the fertility. This creates permanent sustainable farms which don't need to be moved every 2 to 3 years, reducing slash and burn deforestation of the area.
First of all, the land has been cleared and we are now preparing it. We are now constructing the main water control and also the main drain, because if the water is not controlled, then there will be not much yield. The rice will not grow as expected.
Because people here are subsistence farmers and they live right on the edge of survival, if we ask them to do additional work, such as setting up a community IVS or a women's farm, we pay them for that work, because otherwise their families won't eat. We also supply tools and seeds, and we feed people while they're working. Our lead farmers from PADSL work with the communities, giving ongoing support and advice, and building the capacity of the villagers to continue and expand the farms themselves.
My name is Mambu, one of the lead farmers for IVS. Today we are in Waima community. As you see, the swamp is going all around the town, other farmers, individual farmers are making around the swamp. That we train them from this place. They are getting the experience, so they are doing their own swarming to get benefit out of the swamp. We planted 4 bushes and we got 80 bushes out of it. So they were overpriced happy. This year, they divided the seed rice among themselves to make individual farming. Each person have to get 2 bushes. Also, the women have 2 bushes. The balanced rice is stay in the grain store. Then they sow some. They have the money with them to help themselves, so they can able to help their children to go to school.
The other part of the programme is to build grain stores and drying floors so that the rice can be adequately dried and then stored in a secure rat-proof environment. The classic mantra is eat a third, sell a third, keep a third. So they eat what they need. They can keep the rice for a period of time so that they don't have to sell it all immediately after the harvest when prices are low, so they can get a better rate for it, and they can keep seed rice. So this is a much more sustainable method of farming.
Last year we built this grain store for them, and we empower them to do the inland valley swamp, the IVS, and the women's farm. So the rice you are seeing is from their IVS, the one they harvested this year, and of course they have exchanged some with palm oil. They have to keep the palm oil until the price of palm oil increases, then they sell the palm oil for money. And then you are seeing there, that's a groundnut from the women's farm.
The communities that are quite strong and have good leadership get bumper crops, and the livelihood element is that they actually then sell some as well. And we don't interfere with that. We feel that's very much down to the community. But we have heard amazing stories about how ingenious they've been. But the important thing is, with that very initial kick-start, they have the opportunity to have some disposable livelihood to really give them some resilience in their life.